You're standing on the penalty spot. The stadium is silent, in the way a stadium only goes silent once. The kind of silent that has weight, that presses on your eardrums harder than the screaming did. You can hear your own heartbeat inside your skull. The ball is in your hands. In 9 seconds, you're either a legend in your country or a man who will be recognized in airports for the rest of his life for the wrong reason. You don't know which one yet. But first, we have to see how you got here. You're 7 years old. The pitch is a strip of dirt behind your apartment block with 2 piles of bricks for a goal. You don't have boots. You play in sandals that fall apart by the end of the year. Your father watches from the balcony with a cigarette he's forgotten he's holding. He doesn't clap when you score. He just nods once, and somehow that nod means more than any crowd ever will for the next 20 years. Rank 1, Youth Academy, age 11. 600 boys try out. 40 get picked. You're the 41st name on the list, and you only get in because a kid named Dimitri breaks his ankle in the final trial and never comes back. You don't know his name today. You've never thought about him again. He thinks about you every single day. Rank 2, age 14. You're sleeping in a dormitory with 11 other boys, all of you separated from your families, all of you chasing the same single chair that only one of you will ever sit in. The coaches don't know your first name. They know your number and your position. You learn to stop crying in front of the other boys by your second month. You learn it the way you learn anything that hurts. Slowly, then all at once, then like it never happened at all. Rank 3, age 17. You make your first senior appearance, 11 minutes off the bench. You touch the ball 4 times. The local paper runs 6 lines about you on page 19. Your mother cuts it out and keeps it in a drawer you don't know exists until years later, after everything, when you're cleaning out her house and you find it folded into a shape that's been folded and unfolded so many times, the creases have gone soft like fabric. Rank 4, age 19. A scout from a club abroad watches you for 90 minutes and says nothing afterward. 3 weeks of silence. Then an offer that changes your family's life in 1 phone call. You don't sleep that night. You sit on the edge of your bed in the dormitory and you think about Dimitri, the boy whose ankle gave you this life, and for the first time you let yourself wonder if some lives are simply borrowed from other people who never get them back. Rank 5, your first season abroad. You don't speak the language. You eat alone in a flat with white walls and no furniture except a bed and a television that only plays channels you don't understand. You are 18,000 kilometers from your father's balcony. You score 11 goals that season. Nobody at home can pronounce the name of the city you live in. You call your mother every Sunday at exactly the same hour, and for 4 minutes the silence on the other end of the line is the loneliest sound you've ever heard, because you both know neither of you can say what you actually feel without the other one breaking.
Rank 6, age 23. The national team calls. You knew it would happen. You didn't know it would feel like this, like your chest cracking open to let something enormous in that doesn't fit through the space it's been given. You wear the shirt for the first time in a friendly nobody remembers. You remember every second of it. 40,000 people who couldn't name you a year ago now know your name well enough to chant it. Rank 7, the qualifiers. 8 matches that decide whether your country goes to the World Cup or watches it from home like everyone else. Match 6, minute 89. You're through on goal, alone. The goalkeeper already beaten, and you put it wide. Not close, wide. The kind of miss that ends up in compilation videos for the next decade with sad music over it. You don't sleep for 3 days. Your phone has 4,000 messages, and you read every single one before your agent finally takes the phone out of your hand. Rank 8. You qualify anyway. Somebody else scores the goal that gets you there in the final match, and you celebrate with everyone else on the pitch, hugging strangers in the same shirt, and nobody mentions the miss. Not once, not that night. But you know they're thinking about it. You can feel it in the half-second pause before people say your name now. A pause that wasn't there before. Small enough that you could almost convince yourself you imagined it. You didn't imagine it. Rank 9. The World Cup itself. You arrive at the team hotel, and there are 400 journalists outside the gate who weren't there for any of the 8 years it took you to get here. Your phone gets a new home screen of notifications you stop trying to read. Your mother calls and asks if you're eating enough. You tell her yes. You haven't eaten a full meal in 2 days because your stomach won't let anything stay down.
Rank 10, group stage, match 1. You start. You play 68 minutes. You're substituted, and the cameras find your face in the exact half second where you can't hide the disappointment fast enough. And that clip gets 11 million views with captions guessing at your mental state, your relationship with the coach, your future at the club that pays your salary. None of the captions are true. None of them are checked. All of them are believed by someone, somewhere, who will repeat them as fact at a dinner table you'll never see. Rank 11. Group stage, match 3. Must win. You score. Your first World Cup goal. You don't remember running to the corner flag. You don't remember sliding on your knees. You remember opening your eyes and seeing your whole bench sprinting toward you and thinking, for exactly 1 second, of a balcony and a cigarette and a nod that meant more than this entire stadium means right now. Then the second passes and the noise comes back and swallows the thought whole. Rank 12. The round of 16. Extra time. Your legs have nothing left in them. The specific kind of empty that isn't tiredness anymore. It's closer to a body negotiating with itself about whether it's allowed to keep working. You've run 11 kilometers tonight. Your studs catch on the turf wrong in the 104th minute and your hamstring goes. Not a tear, not yet, just a warning shot, a tightness that tells you the next sprint might be the one that ends your tournament. You don't come off. You play the last 16 minutes on a leg you don't trust, because coming off now, in this match, is a sentence you'll carry longer than any injury will. Rank 13. Penalties. You weren't supposed to be one of the 5. The coach picks you anyway, looks you dead in the eye in the center circle and says one sentence. You don't miss in training. Don't start now. You walk to the spot with 80,000 people screaming in 2 different languages of hope and dread, and somewhere in a stadium you've never been to, in a country you've never visited, 11 million people you've never met are watching through their fingers. This is where you started. The spot, the silence, the 9 seconds. You place the ball. You don't look at the goalkeeper's eyes because you read once that the eyes give away nothing useful and the hips give away everything. So you watch his hips instead, the same way you've watched 11,000 hips in training sessions nobody filmed. The referee blows the whistle. You take 4 steps back. You think for half a second about sandals falling apart on a dirt pitch, about Dimitri's ankle, about a folded newspaper clipping in a drawer, about 4 minutes of silence on a phone call 18,000 kilometers wide. You score. The net moves before the sound reaches you. Then the sound arrives, the loudest thing you've ever felt in your chest, louder than the silence was a moment ago, and somehow the silence was louder. You don't remember the next 10 minutes. You're told later you cried on the pitch in front of everyone. You don't remember crying. You remember your father's voice on the phone that night, the first time in your entire life you've heard him cry, and he doesn't say congratulations either, not this time. He just says your name, over and over, like he's checking it's still true. You go home a different person than you left. Not richer in the way people assume, though you are that too. Different in the way that matters less to everyone watching and more to you. You know now what your own name sounds like coming out of 80,000 throats at once, and you know it doesn't fill the specific silence it was supposed to fill. The miss in the qualifiers still visits you some nights. The dormitory with 11 other boys still visits you some nights. Dimitri's ankle, a boy you've never met and never will, still visits you most of all, because you've built an entire life on top of a moment that was never yours to begin with, and there is no penalty kick, no goal, no World Cup that pays that back. Somewhere right now, in a different country, on a strip of dirt with 2 piles of bricks for a goal, a 7-year-old in sandals that are already falling apart is scoring a goal nobody will ever write 6 lines about. His father is watching from a balcony with a cigarette he's forgotten he's holding. He has no idea what's coming.
But somewhere, in a stadium that doesn't exist yet, a penalty spot is already waiting for him, and it will find him too.